Good afternoon and welcome to Tech Tips Tuesday at 2 with Wind River Internet. I am Dallin Cooper from County 10, filling in for Will today.
I'm Patrick with Wind River Internet. I can't believe you said that. It's like a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Tech Tip Tuesday 2.
I didn't even practice. Today, I believe that we are talking about password managers, correct?
Yeah, Will's saying he knew a lot about them. He wanted to do a show on them.
So, of course, Will decides that we're going to be talking about password managers, and then we schedule it, and Will gets sick. Good news is we also know a decent bit about password managers, and I actually have a somewhat unique perspective on password managers since I build websites and am working on websites for clients a lot. I have a lot of passwords. And I've noticed that in Wyoming, people are just like willy-nilly about passwords. Other places they are too, but we're very trusting here. And there are sometimes that I will ask a client to create an account for me or, add me as an admin to something or give me access, and they'll just say, oh, here's my username and password, and they'll just like email it to me. And I'm like, there's so many problems with what's happening here. Like, one, never just give your stuff to people, and two, never send usernames and passwords over email, especially not together. And password managers help avoid all of these problems that result in people stealing your information and money.
Yeah, so why are people always getting asked to change their password? I know that's like a complaint that I get with people a lot. Like, oh, I can't remember my password. It made me change it, and I don't remember what I changed it to. And they're like, well, it's got to be 6 characters long. It's got to have upper, lowercase, special character, and can't be anything you used in the last 6 months, and it can't be a consecutive numbers, and it can't be the same as your username, and all these different criteria.
And most people, I think, if I'm speaking for pretty much everyone I've ever talked to, they'll have like 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 if they're getting fancy passwords that they use for like everything, and it's just variations of like those. But the standards have changed over the years of like what counts as a strong password. So then people who have had the same password they've used for years, like now all of a sudden it doesn't check all the boxes and they have to come up with new ones, and then they forget which one's which. So yeah, that's a complaint I also hear a lot. It gets annoying.
I can't remember, there's like what those diagrams are called, where you get like 3 points. You've got your security, you've got your usability, and I don't remember what the third one is. But basically you can't have all of them. Like whatever you kind of slide it to makes the other one harder. Mm-hmm. And the reason why they're making passwords so complicated is you hear about in the news all the time. These data breaches. Like some huge corporation is apparently storing all your passwords in a text file. And the bad guy got a hold of the text file, and now they have 4 million usernames and passwords.
And for a long time, I didn't understand this, right? I didn't understand the big deal. Teenage Dallin totally just used the same password for everything until I was part of one of those data breaches, right? And I got a thing being like, your username and password for whatever random site has been compromised, and I was like, whoop-de-freaking-do, like that website is meaningless, right? It's like I signed up for it one time, there's no information on there, like what do I care if they can get into that? Until I realized that what they do is they then go try those usernames and passwords on like every website. So they'll go to all the different banks and credit cards and everything.
All of a sudden you're getting an unemployment claim. That happened to a relative of mine yesterday. I was like, what? Yeah. So they had to file with all the credit bureaus, their identity was stolen.
So that's the big issue with using the same password for everything, right?
Yeah.
Like if it gets compromised one place, they can just plaster that everywhere. It's not good.
One of the new things they've been doing, which is a major pain in the butt, but also very nice, is the 2-factor authentication. Mm-hmm. So not only do you sign in, but then they send you a text to your actual phone, and you have to put it in. So they're verifying like the location that you're at, your password, and then a second device to verify that you really are you. Mm-hmm. And that seems to be the most secure way, I think, but it is a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
The live feed keeps getting interrupted. Is that normal? Or is that just me?
Are we having technical issues? Maybe.
Uh-oh.
Live video interrupted. Just keeps pausing.
We may be having.
Are you on
I'm on
the natty one?
I'm on Let me see. You want me to start and stop and reconnect here?
Please
Now it's
stand
playing
by
again, so
for potential technical problems.
I think you're on for now.
I
Okay,
think we're good.
just
Okay.
kidding. Keep going.
If we missed anything or it missed anything of us, go ahead and ask. I think we're
Okay.
just delayed, is what
Yeah.
happens at buffers.
That could be.
Yeah, so passwords are a pain in the butt.
Yeah, two-factor authentication is what you were talking
Yeah.
about, which is there really is like a spectrum from like secure to convenient,
Yeah.
right? Like two-factor authentication is super secure and it's also super annoying, and that's kind of just how passwords go, and that is kind of the point of password managers, right? Is that
And computers
does
are
it.
so powerful now. People can do a brute force attack and just like they'll go through a dictionary and they'll break through and they'll figure out a password.
Yeah.
And there's some things that you should do and you shouldn't do when you're creating.
Welcome back. We had some technical difficulties that we're going to blame on the person behind the camera, whether or not it's their fault. Hopefully they're resolved now, and we're going to go back to talking about password managers. Yeah.
Where did we leave off? So, oh yeah, we were saying that there's two-factor authentication and the
Yep.
level of complexity between it's easy to remember versus it's actually secure.
Yeah, and the last thing I think you said before we stopped was people put them in a notebook because they don't want to use the same password for everything, but then if you lose your notebook, you're just absolutely screwed.
Yeah.
So the password managers are essentially that notebook, but digitally and encrypted and secured.
And usually stored in the cloud.
Yeah.
So if you lose your actual laptop, you're fine as long as you can sign into that account. So
Yeah,
yeah,
It's
one
working.
password or account that you can get into.
And so there is a very important thing with password managers that goes into everything we've briefly mentioned today, I guess on what would now be a different video, but whatever. A password manager requires you to have a master password, right? Something that you use to log in to the password manager. And that is so crucial to make sure you keep safe and secure. Like, that is where you want your two-factor authentication. That is where you want to make sure that isn't written anywhere. It adds all the security, because if you use a password manager and then you have a terrible master password, you are just asking for all of your stuff to get stolen, right? Like, that's where that comes in. It's like, even if you use the password manager, you still have to be smart about securing.
There's always the
password
weakest
manager.
link in the chain. Like, you could have this really thick chain, but you've got this little piece of zip tie in the middle holding them together, and that's
Yeah.
And I guess anybody could chime in at any point if they had questions while we're doing this. Wouldn't.
Not yet.
Even though they're like 20 minutes behind us.
Yeah, that's the problem. So now this is like, who knows what people are hearing as we're talking. I'm not going to advocate for one particular password manager because none of them are paying me to. Password managers, if you want to pay me to advocate for you, let me know. But you should use one, right? Like that is something that will enhance your digital security, and it's really common to think like, oh, it won't happen to me. No one's going to steal my stuff. I'm not going to be a part of one of the data breaches. I've been using the same password for 10 years and nothing bad has happened. And it's like, yeah, you can say that, but as eventually the day will come, right? Where like it happens to you.
So the problem is with using like the one password is somebody did a really stupid password to the main password database at the big company, and they got the list of everybody's passwords. Was Disney Plus was one of the really big ones.
Yeah.
That got leaked, and everybody was getting like all kinds of data breaches from that. And they actually have the data breaches now in Google, like Google Chrome.
Mhm.
If you're using your username and password that's in a database of hacked accounts, it'll tell you, be like, whoa, we found this in 230 different databases, and like,
You should maybe
you
start
should probably
using a
change.
different
You
password.
probably should change your password.
Yeah, that's when I was part of that one many years ago. That's what alerted me to it. Google was like, "Hey, this password that you used on like 200 websites has been compromised. Go change it on all of them." And I said, "Shoot, I need to change my habits because this is a giant pain."
So we went over all the things you shouldn't do. So what are the things that we should do? We talked about using a password manager, and there's some free ones, and you might already be using them without even realizing it, like the ones that are built into Chrome.
Mm-hmm.
It just allows you to save your password whenever you put it in, or it allows you to generate a secure password.
Yep.
Same with Safari or Apple products. They use their iCloud the keychain. It works with Safari, and it'll synchronize between every Apple device that you got, which is super handy. But if you go outside the Apple universe, it's kind of useless.
Yeah.
Or not as useful. And then the really popular one, which I personally have been using, which I probably shouldn't say because that's lowering the security of it right there, is LastPass.
Yeah. I also have used LastPass for a really long time. LastPass has been like the everyman's password manager for a long time because it had a really good free plan and was just very intuitive. Just this month, a couple weeks ago, they made their free plan a lot worse. So I've been looking into alternatives because LastPass isn't as great as it used to be. It's still a good option,
And
for
it's,
sure.
and it's not very expensive. I can't remember how much it is a year, but it's not
Yeah.
bad. But basically, they're limited to one device now,
Yeah.
and for the free one.
Yeah.
And if you've got an iPhone and an iPad, or I keep saying if you have multiple devices,
Yeah.
it
A computer and a phone, even like you can't even use it on either of those, on both of those now.
I used to use 1Password, but there's not as many things supported. It just wasn't as feature rich as LastPass, but they may have upgraded. I haven't looked into it.
LastPass is incredibly feature rich. That's super nice. And one thing that most password managers will let you do, I don't know if all, but they'll let you create secure notes, right? So you can put a note for yourself that might not necessarily be a password, but could be, some kind of authentication code or a number you have to remember, whatever. There's a lot of things that you might need to keep track of. And then you can also share those notes securely so that if I'm building your website in the future, you don't just email me your username and password just waiting to get hacked. You can share that with a singular person in a secure note so that they have access to it, but other people don't. That's a really underutilized feature of password managers, I think, is the ability to share those things selectively or generate other secure things. I don't know all of the features. I haven't done a side-by-side comparison of all of these, but there's also Dashlane and Passcamp are two that I've heard of and I've looked into using, but yeah.
So
lots of good options out there.
You got to do your own research and look at all the different features and determine what you think is best for your needs. I know they've gotten a lot smarter over the years. Like they'll use the biometrics in your phone or whatever, or use your other devices to help authenticate. And
I love biometrics.
Yeah.
I don't know how reliable they are. I haven't.
They're great until you have to wear a mask everywhere.
Yeah, I like the thumbprint ones. There are some of those password managers that can use your fingerprint instead of your master password, essentially.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel like I'm in the future, right?
And then I know with Apple products, you can use your watch.
Ooh.
Which is kind of cool. So as long as you're wearing your watch, it has a pin, and if you put your pin in on your watch, then it'll automatically log into your computer, and you can use your watch to authenticate buying purchases and things. So it's kind of a two-factor authentication, but just really close.
Man, we are this is the future. Now that you can use your face or your thumbprint to verify who you are and sign into multiple things.
I can use my face to start my car, which is kind of weird.
Okay, yeah,
there's an app for my car where I can start the car with my face, which is kind of crazy.
That might be the coolest thing I've ever heard of. Doesn't have tons to do with password managers, but I sure love it.
It's neat.
Tech tips: use your face to start your car. There's a lot you could say about password managers. I feel like we've covered the basics, unless anyone has any questions.
questions?
Well, guys, you let me down. I was hoping for some thrilling questions on the topic of password managers. Because I don't know how many people are watching this, but I would bet that a solid 50% of you have broken one of the rules we've talked about secure password managers. And that's like undershooting. It's probably closer to like 99%.
It's probably closer. I think out of the table here, I think 100% has violated at least one of those rules.
Oh yeah, I spent years violating all the rules, and I paid the price for it. We learn and we grow. Hopefully, this is a learning experience. Learn from our mistakes before you get all your data stolen. Use a password manager.
So I know our live stream's behind by several minutes, so we can go ahead and talk about a couple of the internet things that people always ask anyways.
Yeah.
Just assuming we're going to get the question.
Yeah. If they aren't going to ask it now, they'll watch it later and have it.
Then we can come back to the Lastpass password manager questions if there are any. Like what are the projects that went over internet that we have here, and what's coming soon? Mm-hmm. So we're actively working on the fiber like crazy. We're going to be lighting up a lot more places in Ethity and along 17 Mile and Fort Washakie. So Mill Creek Housing, Ethity Village. We almost had it by the end of the year, but there was a couple little pieces that just didn't come through because of COVID. And those are going to be here in the next week or two. And so everybody there is going to get gigabit speeds in those housing projects. We already pre-installed a lot of the equipment inside the houses, so literally it'll be just the missing pieces, and then they'll be online. So that's really cool. The other thing is, because we got fiber to a lot of the tower sites, we were able to kick up our plans significantly. So we're now offering up to 96 megs over the wireless. So just a hair under 100 megs under ideal, perfect conditions, but it's at least 24 megs, which was what the top plan was before, up to the 96. And right now, probably about half of the sites are capable of it, and we're working throughout the summer to get the rest of them up to that capability.
So this is just my own question to try to understand how internet works. So what you're saying is that now the fiber lines run to the tower.
Correct.
Which makes the speeds that the tower transmits faster.
Yeah,
because fiber is cool.
Yeah, so we've got about 45 towers around Fremont County, and it used to be that there was just other wireless links between all the towers, and that's kind of like the bottleneck. We were already starting to put equipment that could go fast from the home to the tower, but the tower itself couldn't get the speed. But now that we have fiber running directly to the tower, it doesn't have to hop around through several towers. So it makes it more reliable, because it's not like a thing where one tower goes down and takes out 5 other towers, because they're all directly connected to the fiber. And then we always talk about latency. The latency is going down on those towers from, like around 30 or 40 milliseconds down to like 10 milliseconds. So if you're playing games, it makes a big difference. And then there's some really cool new technology we're putting in certain higher density places that can't get fiber right away, but can still do fiber-like speeds. So one of those locations is Hudson. So we've done a couple of sites in Hudson. If they can see the water tank directly, they can actually get the fiber speeds via this new millimeter wave stuff. So it's essentially 5G. Okay. But we can do gigabit plans on fixed wireless in Hudson right now.
Looks like we might have a question. Yes?
Yeah. So Brian would like to know, do you have an estimated date for Blue Sky Highway by the elementary school?
Oh, yes. Well, April.
No, yes, April.
Well, I was told the missing piece was actually en route during the snowstorm. And all those backed up semis that, I don't know if you saw, you had it on County 10. Yeah. You could see miles and miles of semis backed up. It was on one of those semis. So if everything goes well, it should be like next week that we can start hopefully turning people up. So that area there, it'll be next month.
Cool.
Yeah. Where else? Oh, over by it's a very specific location, but over by like the high school. We're able to do some pretty cool stuff with
Riverton High School?
Yeah, Riverton High School. We're able to do that the 60 millimeter stuff that can do gigabit. And then we're going to be doing more fiber throughout up towards Riverton as well, that can do gigabit. We're needing to get up to the airport and that whole area up there. So that's eventually going to be all fiber.
Wow.
So we'll be
like up in those like housing areas up
Yeah.
at the airport.
yeah.
But I guess maybe also to the airport itself.
Well, if they want it, but yeah, all the houses around there. Yeah.
I was like, what are you trying to reach up by the airport?
Yeah. So it's there's tribal housing out there.
Oh yeah.
So that's what we're mainly trying to get to, and then all the areas around it because we're by the Arapahoe Tribe.
Who'd have guessed?
Yeah, that's the big news is that the wireless speeds have literally quadrupled since last month in like the majority of our locations. Whenever we did the last video. So.
Will was here last video, so I don't even know.
And we automatically upgraded everybody, so you don't have to call. You can just go to like speedtest.net and check your speeds, and you should notice they should be significantly faster. At least most people were seeing getting at least double whatever they were getting before. And then there's a few people that are on the newest equipment with the fiber that are getting quadruple what they were getting before. So yeah, it's pretty exciting because we've been trying to do this for so long, and now it's coming to fruition. And then on the fiber plans, not only have we expanded from doing what we've been talking about in East Fort Washakie, Riverton areas, we're actually going to do like literally the entire reservation. So we're going to go all the way out to Kinnear, Pavilion, around those areas, the Ocean Lake, and out towards Bass Lake, and just like way the heck out there with fiber.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a massive project, and it's going to take 6 years or more.
I'm gonna say that's a lot of fiber.
It's a lot of fiber
because that all has to go like under the ground, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That just feels like a lot of digging.
Yeah, I should get Tim on here one of these times to talk about it, but I can't remember how many miles of fiber it was, but it was in the thousands. It's a lot. Yeah, and I guess that's all the news that's fit to print. We should be opening our office. If we didn't today, next week. we got it outfitted on the inside for 1 or 2 people to come in at a time, so you don't have to wait at the front door anymore. We've been open and in here, but we haven't been allowing the public to come in due to COVID. But now that the vaccine's out and numbers are down, and we're opening back up the office. So.
Cool. So, come on into Wind River Internet.